It is well known that Donald Trump will not condemn Russian attacks on U.S. election systems, not in 2016 and not in the midterms. But right now, we want to take a special look at how these attacks are morphing into new and dangerous forms, including real offline activities that affect the midterms. Consider that already a top Democrat on the Intelligence Committee says these 2018 online attacks are from Russia.
Only 3 months before the 2018 elections, Russian-backed operatives continue to infiltrate and manipulate social media to hijack the national conversation and set Americans against each other.
Russian hackers are working to target senators individually, including Democrat Claire McCaskill, and they've already reportedly penetrated at least one voter registration system. All of this has led Donald Trump's own CIA director to say this campaign is continuing.
In regards to Russian involvement in the midterm elections, we continue to see a pervasive messaging campaign.
So that's what's happening, and yet there are many, including Trump-allied conservatives, who argue that Russia's influence online or on Facebook is laughable. The debate here is over whether what happens online matters. And there's reporting that shows this is not just about what's online or out in some mythical cyberspace. Facebook is a crucial tool of ongoing foreign espionage precisely because it is a hub for real people inside our country to do real things on the ground, which is why it's so important to continue to expose these efforts to understand how online right now there are these allegedly foreign Facebook campaigns to target and organize real-world events. So before we even get into the new stuff, what you might call meddling 2.0, let's make sure we remember what Mueller already busted during 2016. There was that ad that promoted a Down with Hillary event offline in New York, or an event from the Heart of Texas group, Get Ready to Secede. USA Today found that in 2016 there were over 3,000 Facebook ads created by a Russian group indicted by Mueller to promote ads designed to inflame race-related tensions. That includes the Black Lives Matter group in 2016. So all of that we know. Here's what's happening now. America this weekend was bracing for this very divisive and potentially dangerous set of events at the Unite the Right rally in Washington. And while that was going on, while people were getting ready for that, there was a foreign effort trying to basically gin up a lot of discord through the web and online this weekend. You're about to see one of these efforts. We're showing it to you because it's fake, not real, but it was trying to exploit this weekend's events. A Facebook page called The Resistors promoting what it called feminist activism, but it wasn't real. It wasn't American. It was created in March 2017. Facebook would go on to report the page was once moderated by and shared by those fake Russia-linked accounts. This summer in June, the page would create a counter-protest event to unite the right. And that eventually caught up real people, like here's one of them, Brendan Orsinger, who contacted the page to get involved in the counter-protest effort. In fact, he told the New York Times he spoke with someone who said their name was Mary as an administrator for months about these efforts. But it turns out there was no Mary. That was a fake account, a fake person, and Orsinger, a real person, was spending time and energy and activism about this counter-protest with someone who may be involved in this foreign espionage. The fake group also actively reached out to other real people to try to join the effort. And there were then 5 actual activism groups that co-hosted this event with the original fake group. So this is important when you get into what's really going on. At this point, you have that counter-protest that was somewhat fake, being mingled in and run with real Americans, although they were unknowingly working in conjunction with fake accounts that, again, may be linked to foreign espionage. Now, by the end of the July period, Facebook basically suspended that account and shut down this counter-protest. Resistors was one of 4 of the most popular pages that Facebook shut down. The other 2 you see here, Aztlan Warriors and Black Elevation, which were also fake American pages. And then the espionage effort gets messier, which is part of the purpose. Because while that page was fake, the issues of racism and civil rights that it was exploiting in our country are very real. And some of these would-be protesters that were recruited inside the U.S. are real people. And some of them, who are anti-Trump activists, are upset that the fake page was taken down. After all, there were over 3,000 people already involved when Facebook deleted it. So Facebook was, on the one hand, doing what so many people have called on it to do, to confront these foreign efforts before it's too late with action that can disrupt the problem. but it also disrupts other civic organizing. In fact, as we reported on this, one of those protesters I showed you told us that he was against Facebook taking down the entire page because he and other activists wanted to keep using it to organize against that white supremacy rally. So that's a lot, and it's complicated, but it's super important when the foreign effort mixes with what people want to do in our country. Now, if any of this is somewhat familiar, it's actually the kind of point that a Harvard digital expert, Yochai Benkler, was telling us about on The Beat, that he argues we have to both expose these Russian efforts, but not let them boomerang on us, because they do basically traffic in real issues.
They seem to be jumping on bandwagons that are already there. But largely, they're not driving the effect. They're not driving the resistance to ICE. They're not driving the rejection of the white supremacists. They're trying to make us feel like our democracy is not safe because of them, when in fact, it's internal divisions with very long and deep roots.
Those internal divisions are as real as the many, many Americans who rely on these social networks every day. We use them for news, we use them for information, we certainly use them for companionship. And Facebook remains in the center of all this, even as it tries to improve how it handles it, because Facebook works with our real identities, as Mark Zuckerberg made so clear all the way back in 2010.
Most things around the web aren't designed primarily to use your friends, right? And they don't assume that you have real identity. It means that this is really you, you're tied to it. The web looks a lot different when everything is completely anonymous than when some things are have your friends and real identity.
He was right about that. And the fact that Facebook uses our identities is why so many people continue to rely on it in our country and around the world. It's also why it continues to be such a breeding ground for these foreign efforts. They want to confuse us. And while we've done a lot of reporting on this show that points out what's wrong with Facebook's response, today is one of those days where the update shows they're trying, but this is very, very hard. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.